I'm Tammy, and this is Collard Valley Cooks, and we're going to make a shortcut cinnamon roll that tastes like an old-fashioned homemade cinnamon roll. Let's get started. These are going to be so good, and they're fast, and they're easy, and they got a lot more cinnamon in them than the cinnamon rolls you buy in a tube. Today we are doubling the recipe because we're going to use a crescent roll sheet dough and make cinnamon rolls, and we're going to use a pizza cinnamon, and we're going to use a pizza dough to make cinnamon rolls. So my amounts will be doubled. So you're going to use butter. Yummy. Sugar. And I give you an option for the sugar. I tell you, if you want it really sweet, use a half cup. If you want it not quite as sweet, use a third cup. So we're going to put in our sugar. And cinnamon. It says tablespoons. All right, here we go. The more the merrier, right? Have y'all seen cinnamon in a tin in a while? I think it's really cool they're starting to put their cinnamon in a tin. That's Watkins. All right, now all we do is mix it up. Now, cream cheese is an optional thing, and I just spread it on the rolls instead of putting it in the filling. All right, that looks good. So there's our filling. It's going to go on them. And it's a little bit thick to spread. I'm going to stick it in the microwave and warm it just a tad, just so that when I want to spread it on top of the cinnamon rolls, I'm not, really fighting against it. All right. Now I'm just going to use a little bit of flour and dust my surface. A little. I got some little clumps from making biscuits. All right. And we'll go ahead and get these rounds ready. I'm going to put parchment in the bottom of them. These are just 8-inch round cake pans. And you can also put these in a muffin tin. Spray it really good and put them in a muffin tin. And they actually rise more like a cone in the middle when you do that. If you use a muffin pan, it's really cool. So if we have any extra dough, I'll just stick one in here so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's pop our biscuits. They're not biscuits, but our dough. So we didn't have to make dough and wait on it to rise and punch it down and make it rise again. And that's the beauty of a shortcut cinnamon roll. Got to figure out where my start is. And this one's got to be mended. Sometimes that happens. Just pinch it together. Pinch it if there's a hole. And you're going to see there's a big difference in the crescent roll dough and the pizza crust dough. The pizza crust dough is thicker and it's more of a yeast type dough. This is more of a buttery dough. So this is going to kind of expand and contract more. And that's why I chose this for the recipe book, because I think this is the closest to, like a homemade cinnamon roll dough. You'll see it kind of wants to expand and all right, that looks good. So we're going to spread our cinnamon on them. And you can zap this in the microwave to soften it a little bit, but be very careful because butter gets hot really fast And if you're not careful, it's going to be runny. If for some reason you zap it too long and it's runny, then just let it cool down. Just leave it out for a minute or put it in the freezer. Let it cool for a minute before you try to spread it on the cinnamon rolls. And it's best to have a nice little spatula to do it. I love these little spatulas. If you don't have one, you can find them on my website under Shop Now. They're really nice to have. I'm hoping I can borrow from this one for some to go on the other one, and I should be able to. I'm getting there. Good thing about making one recipe is you don't have to try to share it. They look good already. All right, we're going to put a little cream cheese on our crescent roll dough. So you can always soften it in the microwave. If you soften it, look how much easier it is to spread. The end pieces of this were a lot more spreadable because I had softened it in the microwave. Now, your microwave may or may not have a setting that is called soften. And mine does. It's wonderful. And I think that's plenty of cream cheese for these. Okay, now we're going to roll them up and cut them, y'all. The crescent roll ones are staying together a lot easier because this kind of dough right here, like I said, it wants to move back and forth and stuff. So this first piece right here, I'm not even going to use because it just, stuck out and stuff. So now we're going to start slicing it. Make sure you use a bread knife to slice them. Let me see if I can just lightly put some flour on it and it might slice a little easier for me.
Pressure.
Don't put any, when you slice it with the bread knife, don't put any pressure on it. Just let the bread knife go back and forth till you get to the very bottom. If you put pressure on it, it's going to smash them. You can make them as tall or as skinny as you want to. That's up to you. Chris reminded me that a lot of y'all always say, use dental floss or a string. So I'm going to try to do it with that and just see if it puts too much pressure on there, and we'll see how it works. It puts pressure on it. So I would prefer the bread knife. See how it just kind of made it smash? So, no, thank you. Not for me. The dental floss. One. Bread knives are wonderful. You should have one. If you don't have a bread knife, you need to go to the website. Let me talk to them. Go to the website and go to one of our Rata links. On the homepage, I have a link for a deal, and you can always get into the store that way, or you can go back to utensils. And I'm telling you, their knives are wonderful. And get you a bread knife. See how these cut? These are a lot easier to cut, y'all. This dough is just easier to use. So if you're not an experienced baker, I would suggest you buy the crescent dough. And you're going to cook them for 30 minutes at 375 degrees. So we're going to get these in here, and then any extras we're going to put in our muffin pan. But look how much cinnamon are in these. There you have the crescent. And now we have pizza dough. And I'm just going to put them a finger width apart. Guess I'll make the one that ain't even a whole one. All right, pizza roll, pizza, pizza. Little pizza. And then we'll be back and see y'all in a few minutes. Now we're gonna make the topping. So we have melted butter, and you're gonna add some vanilla. We're gonna add our vanilla. And then our powdered sugar. One. We're gonna start with 2. So we're gonna add some cream. This is heavy whipping cream. I'm gonna go ahead and add a good bit. Now, I'm not giving you amounts because we doubled. All you gotta do always is look in the description post and you'll see the recipe. And remember all of our recipes are printable and visually you can see them on the website. If you go to Southern Recipe tab, choose your category and look for your recipe. And sometimes what you think might be in a category could be in a different category. So browse around. And the recipes are actually at the very bottom of each page. The pages have pictures so that you can choose a picture and go to the video, or you can scroll to the very bottom, choose the recipe to see the recipe. So you can add more cream if you desire, or less cream. I think this is perfect. We're gonna beat it a minute on high. And I've been trying to find a mixer that you guys can buy that I enjoy. And this is about the 4th one I've ordered. What I do like about it is it has a power burst. It does have a pretty slow setting in the beginning. That's pretty slow. It didn't make my powdered sugar go everywhere. And another thing that I like about a mixer is that if it doesn't sit down like this, I don't like it. If I have to lay my mixer on its side after I'm finished, to me, that's just bad design, because then you get your batter and your icing on your counter. All right, y'all, let's get our cinnamon rolls out of the oven. Move this. Woo! Well, they look different. That's the crescent roll, I think. No, that's the pizza dough. This is the crescent roll. You can tell it's more buttery because it's got a lot more butter in there. Crescent rolls have a lot of butter in them in general. And of course, you don't have to take yours out to ice it. I wanted to just so y'all could see how pretty they look when we ice them. Here's our icing, and we made thick icing because I think cinnamon rolls, when they're hot, need thick icing because it melts it. So you want to put plenty on them. Chris loves a lot of icing on his cinnamon rolls. We made plenty of icing, y'all. Now, I made this icing thick because Chris likes it thick. He loves icing. All right, y'all. This is the pizza roll, cinnamon roll. And this is the crescent roll, cinnamon roll. And I'm going to get a bite of each one and see which one I like the best. It's nice to buy it when it's buy one, get one free, the dough. Mm-hmm. It's so good. They taste a little bit different. This one's got a crunchier bottom. You can't really taste the cream cheese that much. And it's more buttery. This one's more like a regular cinnamon roll. But they're both loaded with cinnamon. And they are so good. To tell you the truth, the pizza roll dough cinnamon roll is softer and fluffier than the crescent roll. It's a little, believe it or not, drier. And it had cream cheese in it. So if I had to just pick one, I'd probably use the pizza roll. And that's what my recipe book says. I hope you really enjoyed this video. We try to bring you old-fashioned recipes. And today you can make a delicious old-fashioned tasting cinnamon roll in a flash with our shortcut cinnamon rolls. We'll see you next time on Collard Valley Cooks, where we cook like our mamas did. We love you. Bye.